Today I will be conducting an interview with my friend Sam, and we will be diving into the discussion on how culture and community can have an impact on a person's relationship with the language. Here with me is my interviewee, so if you want to go ahead and start off with telling us your name and where you grew up.
My name is Samantha Corrales, and I was born and raised here in Arizona. I mostly grew up in Tucson and later came to Maricopa, where I finished out the rest of my childhood.
Awesome, okay, thank you. So what languages do you speak and where do you speak them?
I speak English and Spanish, and I primarily speak English socially and professionally, and I try to speak as much Spanish as I can with my family.
Okay, so go ahead and tell me about your family.
So, my family's background separates from my dad's side, and they're from Mexico, from Culiacan, and then my mom's side of the family is from Spain, and they later came to Mexico and then over to the U.S.
Awesome, yeah, that sounds a lot like my family as well. My mom's family is from Spain and my dad's family is from Guanajuato in Mexico, so it's pretty awesome to look at the similarities between us. How would you describe your community growing up? Do you think it affected your relationship with the Spanish language?
I think community definitely affects and influences my relationship with the Spanish language. Growing up in Tucson, there is a lot of celebrated culture, especially with the Latin community. So I think growing up there, I was really able to see that. And then moving over to Maricopa, where it's more predominantly white, I don't think I had as much as a strong relationship with the language because it wasn't inherently embedded within that community.
Awesome, okay. So the term culture is so vague. How would you describe it? And do you know much about your culture?
I think the word culture has many different components. It could be seen as history or art or even food and music. So I think all of those components incorporated is what makes up a culture. Personally, I think I am educated in what my culture brings on both the Mexican and the Spaniard side of it. And I think I was able to really learn from my parents and what made up our culture.
Would you say that parents should have a role with teaching their children their heritage language?
I definitely think parents should have a role in teaching heritage and culture to their children because if you think about it, they learned about the culture from their grandparents and their ancestors before that. So I think the generational education is important because you're able to feel closer to your culture because you see your family being embedded in it. So I think that if parents take that first step in showing how important culture is to their children, they'll be able to move forward and find their own identity within culture.
Yeah, would you say that's something that your parents did for you personally?
Definitely. I think my parents tried to make us proud of our culture and find it as a point of being unique and something that was different in both me and my brother. And I think they wanted us to learn about what made our family and the different areas in which culture shined through that.
Do you think that local governments should create programs for multilingual families?
I think local governments should take part in creating these programs because municipalities are called to create diversity and inclusion for all members of the community. And I think that establishing these programs within a city would allow for more perspectives and cultures to be celebrated and would help the masses in understanding different opportunities and cultures that they may not be introduced to at the home level.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. I really like that you brought up the point on how diversity would be increased for people that didn't get it at a home level. This brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and for my guest Sam for coming on here and sharing her story with us. Hope you guys enjoyed.